a playlist original.
All right, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Back to the Blockbuster with your hosts Gaius and Jackson. Episode 150, which I guess is a milestone.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we thought about doing something like we should do something for it, and I don't know. It's just been really busy, and there's a lot of stuff going on, but there's a lot of content to go over anyway. So we'll
Exactly.
150 as special as we can. And I guess the one way to make it a little special is there was a big event yesterday. We're recording today, Monday. It was Super Bowl Sunday. I don't care either way. I mean, I always watch it because it's a fun, it's a fun event to get together with your friends and watch.
For
and
sure.
The commercials are really good, and we usually get a lot of movie trailers, and we did get a few. But the overall game, I was just kind of like, I kind of was feeding off the energy of whatever friend was cheering on whatever team. And
right.
We had a healthy mix of 49ers fans and Kansas City Chiefs fans. But congratulations to them and to Taylor Swift and her boyfriend.
So mom was very happy for Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Yeah. I'm with you though. I'm watching that for the commercials and the movie trailers for sure. But I did watch the game. I don't normally, but it was fun. And
it's actually a fun game.
It was okay. Yeah, the game was fun. Overtime, not bad.
So I think it was like I was like talking about it with friends because everyone was like, if you're a particular age, that halftime show was amazing. And I was like, yeah, I think like if you grew up with those hits, then that was probably fun. But like we talked about it a little bit where you were like, oh, but like Rihanna did a really good job last year, and she did a good job last year, pregnant. So I mean,
yeah, quite impressive.
Quite impressive. But yeah, it was fun. I was also interested to spot. Like Blake Lively was in Taylor Swift's like Sweet Box. That was also fun to watch. It was like
Ice Spice up there too. I did not expect any of these people to associate. I didn't know Blake Lively and Taylor Swift were friends. I thought it was funny. It was a funny note about Blake Lively. My mom and I had not an argument, but she was convinced that was Blake Lively, and I'd only seen her side profile with like the curly hair. I'm like, that's not Blake Lively. And anyway, I was completely wrong. After later in the game, I got to look at her. I was like, oh shit, I didn't know they were friends.
Yeah, I didn't recognize her at first either, and because she looked different.
Yeah, it looked way different. Yeah,
and I mean, that she was
so beautiful.
She was considerably she was considerably tan, and I don't think I've really seen her with curly hair like that.
That threw me off. Yeah,
yeah, but yeah, a lot of money in that general vicinity. I don't know. So many people hanging out there. And we still haven't gotten the ratings for this game, but I'd be really interested to see like how big the Super Bowl was based on the fact that not only was it a big game, but it also, for love it or hate it, it also became like Taylor Watch. So everyone was like looking, the whole week was like, will she make it in time? And is she gonna? Because she was leaving from Japan to like get there, and she did, and like they were just tracking her every move. But like I would love to know, like as far as Super Bowl ratings go, where this is going to rank as far as how many people watched it.
I'm expecting quite high.
Yeah,
based on the Taylor Swift phenomenon alone.
But a lot of studios and networks and streamers, because of the potential of so many people watching it, they like to get their best stuff out there for everyone to see. So just like last year, a 30-second spot during the Super Bowl went for $7 million. So a lot of the trailers we got, 30, sometimes some of them a little longer spots during the game. And then you were told at the end of most of those to watch the full trailer online. So as soon as they aired during the game, the full trailers were online. In the case of the first one we got here, they released it a little earlier ahead of the game, like a couple of days before. They've been doing that a lot lately. I kind of think that kills the surprise of seeing it on the actual day.
Definitely
Super Bowl. But yeah, we got A Quiet Place day one, a few days before the Super Bowl. As we know, this is going to be a prequel to a Quiet Place, and of course, A Quiet Place Part 2, with Lupita Nyong'o as the lead. And I think we mentioned this before briefly when we talked about it, that I was, the first one is a really good movie, and it made a lot of money, and I didn't think it needed a sequel, but when we got one, the sequel was much better than it had any right to be. So and that's kind of how I feel about this. If John Krasinski, who co-wrote it, thinks there is a universe to be built out of this that he thinks is good, I think I can trust him now after those first two movies. And he didn't direct this one, but he did. He has a writing credit on it. It looks good. I actually thought it looked good. Pretty, in the same vein as like the other ones, but I do like the whole like different, kind of setting that this one establishes a little bit, but yeah, it looks. I'm glad that the trailer wasn't too long either. Like it was just enough to get the gist of it, and I don't know. I think we're gonna be in for a good one. What did you think of it when you watched it?
I thought this was like a textbook trailer. This felt, it's no secret with me, like very critical of trailers that show too much, that are too long, that give away their plots within the 2.5, 3 minute windows that they all seem to be this time or these days. Right. And I thought this trailer was perfect. Like it had some dialogue, but nothing that really lent to the plot. We don't really have too much of a sense. There's not overburdened with description of what's going on. The length of the trailer was great. I just thought it was textbook back to basics trailer that tells you a little bit about what you're in for the movie, and I had no complaints. Thought it looked great. Thought Lupita Nyong'o is going to be great in this movie too. Big fan of hers. I would say too, a little bit worried for her character's cat in this movie because she is shown at the beginning of the trailer cuddling a furry cat walking down what looks to be like some busy street in New York, and then we see the aliens attack, and I don't think we see that cat for the rest of the trailer. So animal lovers, cat lovers, beware before you see A Quiet Place Day One. But yeah, I was thrilled with this trailer. I thought it was great, better than I even could have expected. And yeah, I agree with you too, though, about it being released because I'd seen it before the Super Bowl, and I was expecting to get a brand new trailer for the bowl. But whatever, it was a good trailer, so I wasn't really disappointed. Just surprised that they wasted that chance to premiere it at the Super Bowl. But whatever.
Yeah, if you're gonna spend $7 million on it, I would think you want to exclusively premiere there. But yeah, I thought it was a good trailer too. Michael Sarnowski is directing this. He directed the movie Pig. Which I did like. And I wanted to correct one thing. Actually, Dr. He wrote he wrote the screenplay, and he came up with the story with the director as well. So not in the director's chair, but did write it with him. And I heard he kind of handpicked him to kind of do this and got to work on this project with him together. So I have faith in it. And in addition to Lupita Nyong'o, Joseph Quinn's in it, Alex Wolff, who most people might remember from
Hereditary.
Sir. And Jaimin Hansu, which will kind of create a link between A Quiet Place Part 2 because he was in that as well. And not much plot details. It just says that Day One will introduce two characters attempting to survive the invasion in its early stages while in New York. That's all we need to know right now. It's perfect.
I completely agree.
No, I thought it was a really good trailer. Like I said, it didn't give away too much, and I'm excited to see it. I got no other than the cat maybe meeting a grizzly, and I have no negative things to say about it.
True. And when is this one coming out anyway?
This one comes out June 28th. So
nice, right before
part of the summer box office. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So this next one, I guess, is really
the one everyone was waiting for sure. Knew this one was gonna come, and of course we're talking about Deadpool 3, which I guess now is under the working title Deadpool and Wolverine. Seems to be what they're calling this movie, which I think works great, honestly. And I gotta say too, another trailer that I was pleasantly surprised with. I didn't really know what to expect once we saw the first look at this movie, because I'm like a medium sort of fan of the Deadpool movies. I like number 1 more than number 2. But this looks pretty sweet. Obviously, no, it's not been a surprise that Hugh Jackman has been cast to reprise his role as Wolverine in this movie. I really, really respect the restraint they had in this trailer by not going all in on his look,
showing him a lot.
I never would have guessed that they would do that. I thought it would be all Hugh Jackman. So really impressed that they decided to just give a couple little glimpses. And I really like this trailer. I'm not gonna lie. What do you think?
Yeah, I liked it too. I like that because what they have to set up with it is, Deadpool was a 20th century, Fox property, and then it, is now a part of the greater MCU, which is a Disney thing. And a lot of people were so worried that Disney was going to neuter it because, this was an R-rated movie, the first two.
Count me in there. Yep.
And the trailer kind of, with some of the jokes and some of the things that were said, it pretty shows that they are not neutering it, and it's in the same vein as the other two. So for those that thought they might have been, pulling one over others and like saying they were going to do one thing and not doing it, it looks like they are going all in on the R rating.
Keyword is looks like. I'm not completely sold yet. This is, Disney has done this before where they show us a little bit of something and we don't necessarily get it, but I have faith with this trailer. I got to give them credit. They really they hooked a lot of people, myself included, and I would consider myself hesitant before. But if they deliver what they're showing with this trailer, then I'm all for it. We got our red band trailer with like lots of guts and gore and action and some profane language that Deadpool is of course known for. So if they don't neuter it, like it seems like they're not going to, then it looks like they could have a winner on their hands. And there's a lot of talk too. I've been interested to see your opinion. I know it's kind of we're a few months out, but this movie is kind of known for carrying the MCU on its back right now. It's the only MCU release in 2024. Yeah. People are saying, is it going to make or break the MCU depending on how it goes? Like, do you want to weigh in on that conversation? Do you think one way or another?
I think there's a lot of pressure on it, and especially it being the only one. But I think everyone viewing it as this bit of like a reset almost, like, hey, let's kind of go back to what, because they have to do a reset a bit. Like, there's, some people were so disappointed with certain entries in these last couple of phases, and and there's a genuine like oversaturation of Marvel stuff because of the shows and the movies, and then I think the quality in both starts to suffer because there's too much of it. Right. And like we say, Kevin Feige is a mega producer and has done a lot, but even he can't properly oversee all these things and give it 100% of his attention. So I think what I like about it is it seems like they're giving Ryan Reynolds and the writers, because he also wrote the script along with Rhett Reese, Paul Wernick, and Zeb Wells, and Sean Levy directed it. He of course has worked with Ryan Reynolds before, and I think they gave them a lot of creative freedom to do what they needed to do, and at least that's what it seems like. Like I said, you have to take this with a grain of salt. It seems like they're giving them a lot of creative freedom to do what they wanted to do. It also seems like it is, and it also seems like a lot of people complain that the movies got bogged down by too much complicated multiverse stuff, and it looks like this might make fun of that a little bit, where it's not gonna take it so seriously. Like, this is a multiverse story, but I think they're going to have fun with it and poke fun at that, and that is probably what they needed to do after people complained about it being so complicated. They overcomplicated it, when they introduced it.
Yes, I believe I'm not the first to say this. I'm very much echoing other people's thoughts here, but if I'm in the camp that this is kind of like the vein that I would like to see a multiverse storyline tackled, like this very meta, humorous look at it, casting some light on the oversaturation of this storyline, like the multiversal thing in the MCU over the last few years. Like, it's kind of almost seems refreshing. And I think it'll really be a chance to capitalize on the best parts of the multiverse storyline we'll have to offer, like in the MCU as a whole. So hoping that it's, capitalized in the right way. It very much looks that way. And there's something else I was going to say about it that I can't remember now. But yeah, I guess overall looking forward to this one. Definitely planning to see it when it hits theaters. That's another summer release.
July 26th.
July 26th.
Later in the summer. I also thought it was cool too, because there's all these rumors and stuff about what Fox Marvel X-Men characters might have cameos and all that. And they could have also leaned into that a lot and shown stuff, but I'm glad that there was one that I noticed in the trailer, and Mark was someone that picked up on it, is that Aaron Stanford, who played Pyro in X2 and X-Men The Last Stand, he is in the trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm assuming playing Pyro, because he was
Pyro catch that.
Because he was Pyro in those X-Men movies. So I'm like, of all the people they could have done the hint at that, it was kind of cool that they picked a random side character, for people who are paying attention, I remember him from those movies. So, and they could have gone all in and used Jennifer Garner, because she was rumored. I mean, I think she is in it as Elektra. And there's also rumors of other X-Men like James Marsden, Cyclops, Famke Jensen, Jean Grey, possibly Holly Berry Storm. So there's a lot of those rumors that are going around. But I think I'm glad that they picked someone that was lesser known to kind of just throw in there as an Easter egg and see who would notice it and run with that a little bit. So that was smart.
I agree. It'll be nice and smart of them to actually leave some surprise for the theatrical experience and not throw it all on the screen in the promo before the movie actually debuts, because that seems to be something that is not done these days, especially with these big tentpole spectacle movies. So we'll see. I'm sure we're going to get another trailer or two before July 26th, but if they can keep up this restraint that they had with this trailer, I think that's definitely the right direction to go. And again, I applaud whoever crafted this trailer for not going in on the low-hanging fruit. So
yeah, no, that was smart.
That was a really good trailer.
Smart. So July 26th, guys.
All right.
The next one, I actually, by the way, we're 2 for 2 on liking the trailer so far.
Yes, that's right.
This next one I actually was pretty excited about because it feels like such a throwback to disaster movies of back in the day. The whole trailer felt that way. But we got a first look at Twisters, which is a standalone sequel to the 1996 film Twister that starred Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt. This one stars Daisy Edgar Jones, Glenn Powell, who's having a moment. Anthony Ramos is in this as well. All I can say about the trailer is it seems like it was from a different time. It felt very much like a 1996 trailer for the original Twister. That's what it reminded me of.
And I love that. It feels like a great, like you said, a great callback to the earlier disaster movies, but with, obviously updated effects and, a 2024 sentimentality to it. I was really impressed with this trailer. Now, that being said, I might have seen clips, like maybe on TV, of the original Twister. I've definitely not seen the actual movie. So there's no nostalgia attached to this for me. And if there were any references to the first one in this trailer, I didn't pick up on them. That being said, it's a standalone sort of experience for myself. I bought into this. I love the look of Glenn Powell in this movie. He looks great. I don't really know much from Daisy Edgar Jones. I believe she's like the main lead, like with him in the trailer. But I don't recognize her. Like I know I've heard her name.
The only thing I know her from, because I saw it for work, but I've never watched Normal People, which I guess she's more known for. It was a miniseries. Okay. It was a miniseries, but she was
that's on my list actually.
She was in the movie version of Where the Crawdads Sing, which is like based on a book that came out the movie came out I think 2 years ago.
That was a big phenomenon when it came out. I remember that.
And the movie was a big hit, and that's what I remember her from. And Anthony Ramos, of course, he started on Hamilton, Broadway, and then it turned that into a film career. He was in the Heights and Transformers: Rise of the Beast. So, and Brandon Pereira is also in it. He was the Fry's Electronics guy from Nope, and he's in it.
Okay, nice.
So yeah, I think it looks fun. Again, another trailer that didn't really give away a lot. You were wondering if there were any nods to the original movie. The only thing I can see is in the original movie they had this machine called Dorothy, which you can't see in the new trailer. And Dorothy was supposed to be like they would put it in the tornado to read what was going on inside of it, so they can actually see what goes on inside of the tornado. And they did have shots of it in the trailer for this.
Is that the machine that has these sort of
balls coming up? Yeah.
I think it's hilarious. It's called Dorothy. Of course, that must be a Wizard of Oz reference. That is awesome. That's slick.
So that was cool, and the effects look cool. If anything about the 96 movie, you can give it a shit for story stuff that isn't. I mean, you care more about the destruction more than
of course,
the kind of, because Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt they were storm chasers and they were in a relationship, and then they broken up and she's gone off on her own, and there's all this conflict between their characters based on them having a past relationship, which I guess you need that stuff to you can't just have tornadoes whipping through and destroying things for 2 hours. But what people also know Twister for is that the effects were very much it felt ahead of its time in a lot of ways.
Do they hold up?
They really do hold up.
Okay, awesome.
And sound wise too, if you guys happen to have a copy of Twister, you have a surround sound system, it still kicks pretty well. I watched Twister a year or two ago with a friend, and it's just so much fun.
I will definitely be checking that out before this one drops on. Looks like another July release, July 19th. So definitely a few months to
very close to Deadpool and Wolverine too. I mean, there's not going to be no much breathing room between the two movies.
See how that goes at the box office.
Yeah, but this is definitely one of those movies. Glenn Powell said that it's not a direct sequel. I mean, it seemed like they were trying to distance themselves from we're not making a direct sequel to it. It's on a reboot. They don't want to call it these things, but I don't know. I feel like it's a slick way of. I mean, you're using the name. The poster that they released also looks very similar to
the poster. Is actually sweet. That's how you make a movie poster. It's just simple.
If you look up the poster for the original movie, it's similar-ish. It has the same vibe. So
I'm looking it up on IMDb right now. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
so
more
menacing actually.
So in '96 when I was younger, that poster in its own way, that didn't scare me, but I was like, that is a very imposing frightening photo.
Look at that. Michael Crichton as a writer of the first Twister. He, of course, wrote the novel Jurassic Park that was adapted from. That's a pretty cool connection. I did not know that.
And Philip Seymour Hoffman's in this movie too. Like, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of
in the '96 one.
Good people.
Oh,
yeah, and Twister, yeah.
So that's
and
John
DeBont. John DeBont directed it. He's known for directing Speed, and he's a really good action, or at least he was a good action director back then.
Speed is awesome though. That movie kicks ass.
And I think also fun fact about Twister is Steven Spielberg was going to do it at one point. It was part of like Amblin Entertainment, so he did produce it. But then John DeBont,
I saw that for this one too, for Twisters.
Yeah, he is a good. John DeBont was a good choice back then for this kind of movie. Because Speed is that's also something that has an anniversary this year because it came out in '94.
Speed? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
That should be one that we get to.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, so he was a good director for that kind of movie, and like I said, the effects hold up really well. And I'm glad that this movie felt very much like a throwback to that era. It wasn't trying to be something like completely new. I mean, like, because like I think there's like a little bit of an old school sensibility to like a disaster film that they feel very much of their time, and you know. But yeah, only thing withstanding what Gwen Powell said about what the movie actually is. I mean, that's feels like clever wordsmanship on trying not to be like, yeah, it's our own thing, even though we're using the name, and and throwing an S at the end of it to make it, that's why it's a sequel. It's Twisters. There's two. But yeah, it still looks fun. No, I thought it looked fun.
Definitely looks a lot of fun. And yeah, I definitely got to check out that first one. I would see that for Philip Seymour Hoffman and Bill Paxton alone, both of whom I love, both of whom are deceased. Rest in peace to those amazing talents.
Yeah,
I did not know Philip Seymour Hoffman was in. I knew that Bill Paxton was, so that's crazy.
You've seen the Lost Boys too, right?
Yes.
Well.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so Jamie Gertz is also in it. She played Star in the Lost Boys. She's also in Twister.
Okay, nice.
And she plays Bill Paxton's current wife, and she has a few funny scenes that like once you see them, you're like, oh yeah, it's like one of those things. Like someone posted a video of her actually from one of her lines. I won't ruin it here, but they put it in the video and like as a like GIF, and they're like basically saying like, if this new movie doesn't have a moment like this, I don't want it.
Okay.
So yeah,
I can't wait to see what you're talking about. I definitely probably will plan to get that the first one in maybe earlier in July, depending on what the watch calendar looks like, but that'll be something to look forward to. Very much looking forward to Twisters. And I gotta say, I do like just the simple adding the S to the title, like Alien and Aliens. I'm a sucker for that. Like it's just it sounds so much better than Twister 2, if that's what they were going for. You know what I mean? Like, so as simple and derivative as it may be, I'm kind of on board for it. So catch that one July 19th. That's exciting. 19th.
Wow, 3 for 3. We usually don't. We usually have like one. We usually have one that we're like, eh.
There might be, because we're covering 5, I think, here. And this next one, this is one that like I was a little bit like, honestly, I think I just have a soft spot for this IP. But this next trailer, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, I was 4 for 4 for me. I'm not sure what you thought of this trailer. I liked the teaser when it came out earlier in the year. I could nitpick it a little bit, sure. I'd say the motion capture doesn't hold up quite as well as the earlier 3, but I mean, that's a nitpick. It still looks great effects wise, but yeah, this trailer, I'm not gonna lie, I'm in on this. I really like the setting and the direction the story of this Apes series is going. I think I would have been fine if the trilogy had ended back with Matt Reeves. I think the last one was 2017, was it? So this is a while. I believe so, yeah. A while since we've been back in this universe, but so far from what we've seen, I'm really on board with the 4th one. What did you think of the trailer?
I thought the trailer looked really good, and I had concerns. I actually liked this. I liked those 3 movies a lot.
Yeah,
and
me too, a lot.
And I think what I liked about them is because I didn't expect to like them. Like when I saw Rise, I was like, I thought it was gonna be like a really kind of silly, just entertaining. I mean, because like I've seen the original Planet of the Apes. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since I watched it, and of course, I didn't see a lot of the sequels and stuff that followed after that. So my biggest exposure to that IP was the Tim Burton reboot, which I hated. I didn't like it at all.
Boy. Who does?
So that was like a concern. But then when I remember when I saw the trailer for Rise, I was like, that looks pretty good, but like it might just be entertaining. And then I did have more faith in it because Andy Serkis is going to be involved, and like he has made such a great case for, a lot of people say that motion capture should be considered for Oscar nominations because he brings characters to life so well, but I don't think it gets the credit that it deserves because of, the Academy is pretty, in certain ways, a little not with the times and still
a little bit out of touch. Yeah, definitely.
So I was pleasantly surprised when I saw Rise, but then they got progressively better. Like, I mean, they really got I don't have any bad thing to say about the first three. They're really, really good.
I'm a little bit what's the term there? I'm a little far removed from them. I haven't really seen any of them since War for the Planet of the Apes came out in 2017. So I'm definitely due to go through that series. But I believe my rewatches of those first three will probably come right before this one drops in theaters. The release date I do not have in front of me. But yeah, very much excited to see Rise, Dawn, and War of the Planet of the Apes again, because Kingdom looks like I'm in. Yeah. Will it be amazing? I don't know, but like I'm down to check it out. It's got my vote of confidence for now.
It looks really good. So Wes Ball is known for directing the Maze Runner trilogy. Now, I'm not saying that those are bad movies. They're entertaining for what they are. I mean, They were kind of like came out during that glut of young adult dystopian movies that were based on books.
I read those books actually, and they're fantastic novels. So I was a little bit biased with the movies. They're not terrible, but they don't do the books justice. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. So like I was a little concerned with that, but I was like, no, but they're competently made and they're well directed. It's like, so I don't think that was an issue with, like, if you had any issue with the Maze Runner movies, I don't think the direction from Wes Ball is one of them. No. And then I was also kind of happy. I mean, there aren't like big stars in this movie, which makes me happy that there's more of a focus on the apes and that universe and just that story rather than throwing in big leads to kind of distract from that. So I actually like that direction too. I love that new trailer just really showed that. It was just,
definitely.
And everything looks so great. And I know that some people are concerned about Andy Serkis not being involved, but Wes Ball said that he had worked with Andy previously on another project, and he talked with him about wanting to try to get him in it. And what they decided at the end of the day was that, this is a new story, new direction. He shouldn't be involved in that way. But I guess he did talk to a lot of the actors who were doing motion capture work on it, and he was very integral behind the scenes, talking to them about his experience and then trying to help them with their experience on this new one. So he was involved in some way, I guess.
Andy Serkis, this is
that's awesome. And just speaking with the actors on what the experience would be like and what they can expect. So I think that was cool that he tried to fit him in some way, and then realized that no, maybe that wasn't the best direction, and they both agreed. But he did come in and talk to the actors about what they should expect and how gratifying that experience was for him too.
He'd be the guy that you'd want to chat about motion capture without a doubt. It would speak volumes for this movie if it had his endorsement or his blessing, whatever you want to say, because Andy Serkis is definitely the man. I would love for him to have been doing this movie. You know what? If Wes Ball has his endorsement, then I'm all for it. I'm excited for this one. And like I said, gonna binge that earlier trilogy. I really got to see the original. It's been on my list for too long. But that would be a good one to cover. I know doesn't have an anniversary this year. I might sneak it in though sometime. And Tim Burton's I've never seen either, but that's one that I might watch as like a comedy someday. I don't know if
you might. I just don't have the 3000, man. Like I don't know if Cam has seen it, your buddy, but if he hasn't or if he has, maybe you guys can make fun of it together.
That would be like how I watch it if I do. Yeah,
it's so laughably bad. And then Mark Wahlberg,
I know all but that.
Mark Wahlberg was awful in it too.
I know the ending. I've seen that a million times on the internet and whatnot, but it definitely seems hilarious.
Yeah,
in all the wrong ways.
not any attention at all, right? Yeah. So this one comes out on May 10th. This is it probably kicks off our summer movie season. So
nice.
Good job on that.
Well, I'm just curious, actually. You say May 10th. I'm on IMDb here. It says expected May 24th. What's your source for May 10th?
You know what? I just looked up Wikipedia, so I can.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'll look. Yeah. So either way,
it'll be in May for sure. I was about to say it before you said May 10th. I was going to say expected May 24th, but IMDb is not always on the ball with some of their release dates, so that could be wrong for sure. But May, it seems like it's definitely coming out earlier in the beginning of the summer season, like you said.
Yep. So I guess this next one, which I wasn't expecting them to drop this trailer during the Super Bowl, because this doesn't really scream like predominantly male driven. But then I thought,
point, actually, yeah.
But then I thought maybe they were like, hey, a lot of women are going to be watching it because of the Taylor Swift stuff. So maybe that was the direction they went. But we got our first look at, and this is a true teaser because it's a little over a minute, I think, right at the nose of Wicked, which is of course based on a Broadway musical and a very popular Broadway musical.
Which I've actually seen on Broadway, and it was fantastic. The only time I've ever seen a Broadway play.
A lot of people I know who have seen it loved it, and I haven't. I've never seen it, but they all have really great things to say about it.
It is fantastic.
This is being dubbed as Wicked Part 1 because it was split into 2 parts. Directed by John M. Chu, who directed In the Heights, which is a truly underrated musical that unfortunately didn't do well because of COVID and a bunch of other reasons. It didn't do well, but he also directed Crazy Rich Asians, which was pretty good too.
Okay.
And also stars Ariana Grande, Cynthia Erivo, Michelle Yeoh, Jeff Goldblum, Jonathan Bailey, and Ethan Slater. There's actually a few people in this movie. And
no kidding.
I had to look. So I had to look at the trailer based on I don't know anything about. I mean, I know the gist of the musical, but I've never seen it. And I thought it was a good teaser to kind of tease what it is on that level. And I honestly, some people still think that this is a trailer that tried to hide the fact that it was a musical. I didn't think that was the case, but I don't know.
I kind of thought that, like, you get a little bit of a background, sort of a sing-songy voice, but like I think it was cleverly disguising. It definitely didn't lean in that it's a musical. I don't know if you would agree with that, but I was kind of thinking,
I guess I don't think
it's embracing that it's a musical. That's for sure. Maybe not hiding, but not embracing at least.
Yeah, but I think this one would be hard to hide. I mean, everyone knows that. Wicked,
true.
I mean, it is a musical, but
everyone that knows the IP definitely. But
a lot of studios have been.
Yeah,
a lot of studios have been doing this lately, where they're like, "Hey, musicals aren't for everyone, so let's do the whole bait and switch."
Which I just don't fundamentally understand that approach. Like, why you would want to like potentially piss off X% of your theater goers that aren't going in looking for a musical that then find themselves in one. Like, I just feel like that is such a gamble, like when it comes to like how it's going to be reviewed, like walkouts. But in any case, I did not know until I watched the trailer before we recorded that it was slated as like a part 1 of 2. I literally did not know that at all. Kind of confused as to why. Maybe it's just a big epic story.
You've seen it, right? So you've seen it. Like, is it something that has like a ton of songs and maybe they were like, hey, we don't want to cut anything, so let's
maybe. Now keep in mind, I saw this when I was in 12th grade, so this was like 8 years ago. I don't really recall. Like, it was probably a 2.5 hour production. I think you could do this in one movie, but like I'd probably need to like read up a little bit on it more and see, because I'm a little bit, again, out of touch with the experience. I just remember thoroughly loving it. It was my first exposure to Broadway. Anything beyond like local plays at like here in Fredericton. So I was quite taken aback with it. It was awesome. But I don't really know. I think you could be onto something. Maybe they just don't want to cut some stuff out, but I feel like you could make this as one long movie. But what also gives me faith is I didn't realize that John Chu had already directed a musical. So that's great that he has experience in that realm.
Yeah. And The Heights was great too. So it deserved better than what it got.
I gotta say,
really great reviews. Yeah.
Okay. This is an easy front runner, I think, for 2025's Oscars, at least in the production quality aspects. Like those technicals, like it looked beautiful. Like the costumes, makeup, production design looked like definitely Oscar worthy for sure.
Yeah. And I had a friend yesterday when this trailer came on because she was like, "Oh, I didn't know that Ariana Grande was an actress." Well, I was like, "Hey, she was on that show She was on that show Victorious for 3 years on, I believe, Nickelodeon."
Oh yeah, I always forget about that. Yeah.
So she was a Nickelodeon girl, and then she was on Ryan Murphy's Scream Queens in season 1. Not a big part, but she
didn't know that either.
Did that show as well. So
she's in Don't Look Up, I think.
Yeah, and she's in that as well. So like, but I primarily hired for her singing chops because she has a great voice.
She does.
And Cynthia Erivo is both. She is a great actress and she can sing. So
I did not know that she could sing.
And I know that, and they're what I do know about Wicked is Kristen Chenoweth and Idina Menzel, were pretty linked to those roles on Broadway, and a lot of people really love them. So I know it's probably daunting to try to replace them, but I guess Kristen Chenoweth is really good friends with Ariana Grande, and was pretty happy with both choices and thinks that they both will do those roles justice. So I wish I knew more about the musical. I think I would feel more excited about it if I knew more about it.
Plenty of time because this is not coming out till the end of November of this year, so that is which I thought was quite early for a Super Bowl premiere of the trailer.
That's why I thought that was interesting too. That's not that common, and I'm surprised that they went that route, but. I mean, they're probably. Oh, and I didn't realize it was $145 million budget on top of that too. And Universal actually had that spot, and they also had, we're not going to talk about it because it was a short trailer, and the trailer already came out like a while ago. But they even had a spot for the Fall Guy, so they had 2 Super Bowl spots that I saw.
Damn.
And $7 million a piece. So there you go.
Not bad.
But yeah, I think it looks good. I just wish I knew more about the musical, but I have, like you said, I have a lot of time to learn about it.
Yes, sir.
Definitely interested in seeing it, though. I think it'd be exciting. And like I said, In the Heights was solid, so I would like to see what he does with an even bigger budget and bigger production value and all that. So yeah, pretty excited to see what they do with it.
So with these 5 Super Bowl trailers out of the way, this is something that I wanted to bring up that we mentioned sort of before the Super Bowl actually premiered. There was some speculation that A24 might release a trailer for, again, I can't remember. I know it wasn't Civil War.
Maxine.
So we didn't get that, did we?
We did not get that. And it was wishful thinking on my part when I saw that. And I was like, I don't know if A24 is going to spend $7 million on the Super Bowl spot. And if they did, would they use it for Maxine or would they use it for like Civil War? Right. But no, they did not. We still don't have a Maxine trailer, and I'm bugged that we don't.
Where the hell is it, man? I feel like I want one so bad.
I feel like we should have had one by now, and it's ridiculous. Like absolutely ridiculous.
Although I gotta say too, I think like not premiering, but showing a Civil War trailer at the Super Bowl would have been very irresponsible.
That wouldn't have gone over well.
Considering the climate,
America's game, and like bunch of drunk people. When they launched that trailer, if it was like if it was after halftime, they probably were like, "What the fuck is that?" So like,
exactly. Yeah,
well.
I did rewatch the trailer today, actually, just because it automatically popped up after I watched, I think, like the Twisters trailer again, and I just watched it through because like I'm so excited for that movie and it looks so epic and incredible. But yeah, the trailer is amazing. I want another trailer before it comes out, but I think it's March, so it's not that far away. Yeah.
Yep. So I think that's the whole little trailer breakdown.
Yeah, exactly. So some good stuff came out of the Super Bowl. Very happy overall.
There were some other ones. They were like Despicable Me 4, and I think Inside Out 2 had a spot. They look like fun for the entire family. So yeah, check those out too if you didn't get to watch them.
Kung Fu Panda 4, I think had one.
Yeah, I had one, and and I think If too, that imaginary friend one with Ryan.
Yeah, I never actually caught that one. But on that note, almost all of these, with the exception of Wicked, which is sort of a prequel, but anyway, that might be the anomaly here. But almost all of these were like 3rd or 4th entries into series, which is quite crazy.
Prequel, sequels, reboots. Reimaginings,
exactly, with the exception of the Fall Guy, which seemed to be original.
Yeah. Oh no, actually, that's based on a show. Sorry, I just realized that it's based on a TV show.
Okay,
so, yeah,
I take it back.
Never mind. So yeah, I don't think if there were any original. Well, I guess If is they had If there.
Okay, see, and I didn't see that.
So yeah, but yeah. We're in the year of the sequel prequel.
Oh, we've been there, but it's funny to see like how prevalent it really is. But that being said, a lot of these, as we just mentioned, like quite excited for. Regardless, they're not always bad, but it would be nice to see a little bit more completely original content in there. But it is what it is. Overall, passing grade to the trailers that we took away from on the Super Bowl Sunday. Definitely.
Yep. All right, we got some news things that we're gonna like speed through for you guys, just because we didn't want to like go by without mentioning them. There was one we really have to mention because our last episode we told you that David Leitch was directing or in talks to direct the Jurassic World sequel, and we were all excited about our slow motion dinosaurs with guns and like wire work. And now we're not getting that.
Those talks have fallen through, so he's no longer attached. Is there anything else about that? Is anybody else in the talks?
No, not right now. They know they need to quickly find someone because they did fast track this movie for July 2nd, 2025 release date. So it's like one of those things that they have to find someone soon. And apparently, even though they are high on Fall Guy, he's doing that for Universal. I don't think it was like a bad blood kind of thing. They just didn't. They created differences on like what his direction and what their direction was for Jurassic World, and there's not a lot of story there. Just like now, there's no director, and it does kind of concern me that
that we're this far out and there's not even a director yet. I think that's definitely something that's going to anchor that production big time. Now let me ask you this: who would you pick from a hat to do a Jurassic World movie, like a completely original, previous characters being brought back? Who's your guy or gal?
I don't know, man.
And I ask this not really having one in mind either, so I can't even really, I don't even know.
I kind of wish that we weren't even getting one. To be honest,
I mean that's completely fair.
What if Spielberg went back and did another one?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd be on board with that. I think it'd be pretty cool. It'd be nice because I would like to think that he would do something like that practically if he could, which would be really cool.
Yeah,
but
so I can't think of anyone else. I mean, off the top of my head,
he'd be a safe bet, that's for sure. I don't even know what is his next thing that he's doing.
Yeah, I don't even know what he
wonder if he'll bite. Wonder if he'll bite if now that he knows that the director shares up for grabs.
Who
handles creatures really well? What about like Guillermo del Toro? I think he would do a dinosaur movie.
That would be it would be really weird. I mean, it
would be really very different. Like a gothic, like fairy tale dinosaur movie. Like that'd be super sick.
That would be something else. All right, I can't think of anyone.
Someone plug that into like an AI generator, like a Guillermo del Toro Jurassic Park movie, and see what that imagery would look like. That would be quite cool.
Yeah, but for now, no director, still have the writer, and they still have a release date. So July 2nd, 2025, and they're on the hunt.
On that, well, speaking of on the hunt, that's a great segue. We've got another Predator movie in development, this time again from Dan Trachtenberg, who directed 2022's Prey, which was sort of a prequel to the other Predator movies in the series there. And this is not the one that he's attached to. I believe they're working with the title of Badlands. It's not a Prey sequel, although there is still talks of developing a Prey sequel. But Dan Trachtenberg is now slated to direct a new, different Predator movie called Badlands, and I'm hoping. There was a lot of discourse online after Prey and the whole historical aspect that movie went with the settling of North America. There was a lot of sort of like fan discourse online of like a samurai infused Predator story, and I would love that to be the direction for this one. I don't know how many details about this Badlands movie are out there, but that would just be so awesome. There's been a lot of great fan story art out there about like a samurai Predator movie would be so awesome, but very excited to see what becomes of that. I'm a big Predator fan. I believe you are too. Is that right?
The first one's so good. Yeah, I love the first, and I love the first one because like it's just like we don't need any backstory. That thing just comes down to earth and just fuck shit up, and like, that's all I need. More they tried to explain that, like in the second one, and then of course Alien versus Predator, and then like Predators is the one that Robin Rodriguez produced, the one with Topher Grace and Adrian Brody. I remember liking that one. I haven't watched it in a really long time.
I have a soft spot for that movie big time. It's not perfect by any means, but like in the Predator canon, it has a lot of cool stuff in that movie. I really actually do like that one.
The Predator was awful.
The Predator was awful, and it should have been really great, and it sucked.
Yeah.
And Shane
I like Dan
did that too,
Trachtenberg,
which just sucks.
Because I thought Prey was good, and I also like 10 Cloverfield Lane. He also did that.
Yes, that's right.
It's also really good. Interesting things about this though, it is a high priority movie, Badlands for 20th Century. But there's no word whether or not they want to make it a Hulu exclusive like they did with Prey, or try to go theatrical with it. The reason that they kind of would probably want to stick with the whole Hulu thing is that it broke streaming records for Hulu.
That's right. So, yeah.
So I mean, of course, this is based on what they're telling us because they keep those numbers like that.
And what sort of like movies are premiering on Hulu? Like, is that?
There wasn't a ton of competition. Right. But still, I know it was well received though, and it's actually I think some of the best reviews, if not the best reviewed movie of the Predator franchise.
Which is suspect, but it is a good movie. I actually saw it twice.
So like I enjoyed it, and I'm glad he's involved with this. Yeah, no plot details or anything when it's coming out, but they are fast tracking it, and they said that they think that he's already been like auditioning people for the leads too. So
Okay,
it's far along, I guess.
On that note, actually, I do remember reading that it will have a female lead again, as in the vein of Prey. So we know that at least, which is great. But yeah, excited. I'm sure as more details inevitably come out about this movie, we'll be covering it. Being big Predator fans, so stay tuned for more news on that. I cannot wait to get hopefully a theatrical Predator experience again, because 2018's The Predator just did not do it.
No, they're not at all. And here's some bad news. I hate this kind of news because I think it's ridiculous to have a completed movie. And
was that the case with this again? I didn't realize it was completed.
Yep. Not only is this a completed movie, but this is a completed movie that apparently had high test scores. A lot of people were liking it. They're comparing it favorably to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which is like a great comparison for a live action animation hybrid. We are talking about Coyote versus Acme, which was killed at Warner Brothers, and for a tax write-off. There was big debate on whose decision this was, but they said ultimately it comes down to David Zaslav, who they said had not actually viewed the film, which makes it even worse that he is doing it this way. But there was some hope that other people could pick it up. They did. Amazon, Netflix, and Paramount were all interested, but Warner Brothers wanted $75 to $80 million for the film, and Netflix expressed interest, but they wanted to get it for less than $70 million. And then everyone else was like, no, sadly, they didn't pick it up either. So yeah, that is a done deal, unfortunately. And I think that's really sad because a lot of people, I remember, I forgot which post I read. I don't know if it was like one of the people that did the music or someone that said that they put their blood, sweat, and tears for that movie for years. Because when you do like an animated movie, it's years of work.
Oh, absolutely.
And they just work. Yeah, and they just couldn't believe that they were doing this. And I was so hopeful that another platform or studio would pick it up, but yeah, it didn't happen. So
let me ask you this, because I grew up watching the Bugs Bunny and Universe characters like Wile E. Coyote, all that stuff, but I do not know what Acme is. Like, I've never heard of that before.
So Acme is the whole like where the like Looney Tunes characters come from, basically.
Looney Tunes, yes, that's what I was looking for. Okay.
Yeah, so it's associated with that. And John Cena is going to be in this, a few other people who are like the live action stars. And like I said, they said it tested super high. And they can't believe this is not like a Batgirl situation, which I don't even think they should have gotten rid of that. I mean, even if the movie wasn't good to them, to completely shelve a movie for a tax write-off because at all that hard work that goes into making movies, it's so disappointing to see that. But I was hopeful that it was going to get picked up by someone else. This, for all this, Warner Brothers has done some good stuff, right? They spearheaded Barbie, and that made a lot of money. They have this deal with Tom Cruise, which sounds promising and all that. But David Zaslav is not a studio guy. He's a businessman when it comes down to it. And, and these are business issues. The fact that he didn't even watch the movie before doing this is very telling of the kind of operation he's running. So, I mean, that's disappointing to say the least.
And this is like the third Warner Brothers movie that has been completely killed before ever being released in the last couple of years.
So Batgirl, there was an animated sequel to that movie Scoob that had like Zac Efron as a voice and all that. They got rid of that.
That's the one I was forgetting.
And then this one, another one, but this one was different from those two because everyone was very high on it. They really thought they had a winner with it. Again, if you've seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit, if you're comparing it to that, then that is a very good.
That's high praise. I've not seen it, but I remember I had my French teacher in high school always sung praises about Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and I don't think anybody else in my class at 15 years old knew or gave a shit about what Who Framed Roger Rabbit was, but I always remember that was my introduction to that, and I've since, obviously, I know of the movie, but I've never seen it yet.
It's so good and way ahead and way
groundbreaking for blending the cartoon and live action animation, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Unfortunately, but you can tee up some positive movie news for us as far as someone's next project, I guess.
Yes, exactly. So for those that have been listening recently, Gaius and I both recently watched Past Lives from 2023, and it made both of our top 10 lists. It actually came in at year number 1 from 2023, and my number 2 spot right behind Oppenheimer. Fun side note about that too is that you guys voted on our Instagram story for our lists and who had the not better list, but like a friendly competition. Whose lists? I think the question was posed, whose lists do you find most similar to yours? And we scored an even 50-50 on that. So that was fun. Thank you guys for voting on that poll.
So they love us both.
Yeah, exactly. It's great. And I mean, we did have some similar movies on there, but a lot of differences too. But Past Lives, back to the point here, was fantastic. Directed by Celine Song in her debut feature film last year. So she now, she has her next movie slated to be with A24, who fans of that studio are going to be very excited to hear, myself included. And it's supposedly a romantic comedy. I don't know how much else we know about it right now, other than there's 3 people. I don't know if it was official cast or if they're just slated to be in it. Do you know? I know it's Dakota Johnson.
They're in talks. I think they're in talks. But I think the talks are I think it's very close, though. I think it's like almost a done deal for them.
So Dakota Johnson, Chris Evans, and Pedro Pascal. And I just didn't want to say they were cast and be wrong about that. So thank you. That's great news for her.
It's called The Materialists, and it is a romantic comedy. And it's a New York set rom-com following a high-end matchmaker who gets involved with a wealthy man. They said the roles Johnson, Pascal, and Evans would be playing have not been disclosed as of right now. But I guess she hinted that this is going to be her next movie when she was promoting Past Lives. So at first I was like, romantic comedy, huh? I wasn't expecting that to be the next thing. But if it's like A24 romantic comedy and with a strong writer, then I can get behind that, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
And the cast is pretty good too. I mean, like we talked about Dakota Johnson off the live, but when she's in good stuff, she's in some good stuff. Like definitely. I love that movie, Cha Cha Real Smooth. I love that movie, and she was really good in that.
Okay.
And Chris Evans and Pedro Pascal's having a moment too. So I like the cast. I like knowing that she has something else lined up to do. She actually had a pretty good weekend as well, because I believe she won a DGA award for best first feature
nice.
from the Directors Guild of America, and Christopher Nolan actually won the DGA award for best director, which means he's likely going to win the Oscar for best director. So.
Awesome. Hopefully that is how that plays out. We'll be very happy for him. But yeah, I did see that he won the best director award, the DGAs, which is awesome.
Yeah, and good for her for winning the best first feature, because
very well deserved.
It was a pretty strong awesome movie out of the gate, and gutted both of us.
That's right. There's nothing left of me after watching that movie.
But I think I said to you after I saw that story, I think I said it to you. It was like, oh, like first she tried to make us cry, now she wants to make us laugh. Well, good for her.
She's very in touch, I think, with like the nuances of romance, it seems. And she also must be from New York, I'm guessing, with 2 New York set movies back to back. That's what that indicates.
It reminds me of like the kind of like Woody Allen has that same vibe too. With he's very much of that area, and then like Spike Lee, another one. Spike, same thing. So I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited that I just want to see what she does next.
I can't wait to see what she does next. I'm with you, man.
Yeah,
she's great. And speaking of Dakota Johnson, I believe this episode will be our vehicle into Madam Web's box office performance, which is slated to come out this upcoming weekend. How's that looking?
So, first of all, box office in general was pretty dismal. It was Super Bowl weekend. We warned you guys.
Right.
The number one movie in America is still Argyle. It made $6.2 billion. It dropped It dropped 64.2%. I forgot. I know I predicted 9.5 for Lisa Frankenstein. I forgot what you did, but
stand by. I wrote it down.
It opened to 3.6.
Oh my god! Yeah,
in second place.
I went in under you by $500,000 at 9.
Oh, and that's because I like Price is Right to you, and you're like, yes. Oh, I'm going first next time.
Yes, you did. That's right. It opened to, you said 3.6 million.
3.6 in second place. That's how. Yeah. So blame the Super Bowl or blame the lack of quality stuff out right now.
Combination of both, I think. I did hear though that Lisa Frankenstein is like destined to be like a cult classic in a few years.
I heard
that. I would check it out for sure. I don't know if I'll go to the theaters to see it, although I'm definitely missing the theaters right now. I haven't seen anything.
I haven't gone
Ferrari at the beginning of January.
Mean Girls, and that was for work, and then like there's nothing's been out that I really wanted to see.
Dune in the beginning of March. That'll be probably my next time being there.
But okay, bear in mind this movie is opening on Valentine's Day because I guess they are hoping that this will be a good date night movie. It also is opening over the 6-day Valentine's Day, President's Day stretch. So this is a holiday weekend as well. But the projections for it over 6 days is $20 to $25 million. That is not good.
Oh man, on a what budget? Do we know?
Oh, let me look it up. By the way, we're not predicting this movie, but Bob Marley One Love is projected to open higher at 30 to 35, which is like a music biopic is possibly going to outgross a
Marvel movie.
Marvel movie. I mean, Sony Marvel movie.
Loosely, loosely. I can never find where IMDb keeps their budget information. I know it's at the bottom, but where is it?
I see one thing that says less. Oh, $80 million. So not bad, not horrible, but it can be like. I mean,
compared to what it's going to open at, that's so this is an automatic flop.
Yeah, I think
80 million. Oh boy, that's tough.
I don't want to like kick the movie wise down because that embargo lifts tomorrow, and I can't wait.
Yeah, so you said this it releases, the embargo lifts the day before it premieres, right, which is generally bad sign.
You're bad, and they changed the review embargo and the social media embargo to match. Because usually the social one is first because they're like, oh, let's get the good word out amongst fans, and then they do the review embargo. But they changed it last minute to have both come out at the same time.
And are you attending theaters to see this?
So I skipped the one today. I will probably go tomorrow.
Okay. I will be standing by for your review to see what you know.
So so tracking is 20 to 25 million. What you got?
So we're doing the 6 day, right? That's the only
we'll just do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I get to go first this week. So 20 to 25. I'm gonna come in low. I know that much. Geez. But the 6 day, that is such a curveball. I don't think in the history of us doing this together, we've not had a 6 day. How often does that even happen?
Not really. I mean, sometimes the summer you might get one that does that, like in July, but like definitely not, usually not now.
20 to 25. Hold on, my brain is racking here. I want to come in like the low teens. I think just for fun though, I'll go right in the middle with like a $15 million opening, which is low. Yeah, I don't have faith in this movie. But
I don't either. I'm trying not to be mean though.
It's not. Yeah, it's just like genuinely like I just don't see it doing well. But what do you think? It's also slow box office season right now. That's definitely weighing into my.
But I don't see this appealing to girls. I mean, even though it's a female led,
even with Sydney Sweeney in it.
You know what? They're not showing her a lot in the trailer though.
No,
I mean, like she's in it a ton. I imagine, but like they're not showing her a lot in the trailer.
That's right.
You would think they would kind of capitalize on that whole. I mean, I know it was a different studio, but they saw how Anyone But You did. You think they would have like showcased her more, a bit in the marketing. By the way, for Sydney Sweeney, if this doesn't work out for you, they are expanding Anyone But You with extended footage over Valentine's Day. So maybe they'll get. She'll still be okay.
And I'm sure this will have no real impact on her career if it tanks, which I'm sure it will. But
I'm gonna go 22. I'll be
okay. This is like a big gap for us.
Yeah, a huge gap.
So that'll make a clear winner.
And by the way, you were leading the pack on the predictions, but none of us were close on Lisa Frankenstein. So that
that was abysmal.
Nowhere near close. And by the way, I got some breaking news for us. I was wondering about the Super Bowl. According to Variety, Super Bowl 2024 was the most watched telecast of all time, reaching 123.4 million viewers.
Wow,
it's the most watched telecast in history. So,
like of anything or of Super Bowls?
It says like the highest number of people watching the same broadcast in the history of television.
Oh wow! Now I'm sure lots of that credit can go to Taylor Swift inevitably.
I think so.
Quite impressive. Not all of it, but definitely a sizable chunk of people were watching for her. That is insane numbers. That's like a little under half of the population of the United States.
Yeah,
like that is
ridiculous.
Crazy.
Well, there you go. The Taylor Swift effect. It works.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so. All right, we'll see how we do on this whole Madam Web thing. You went so low. I didn't know you were gonna go that low. That's crazy. But you might be right. I don't know. Like it could be like an Electra level flop, man. And that was back in the day. That was like a 2000s comic book movie, but
a lot of my decision making here is going into that overwhelmingly negative reception to that first trailer, and like I still haven't forgotten it. Like it's almost like when a movie,
and it never really got like another better one either.
No, it didn't, did it? I'm just thinking about that now. So people have that to go off of, and I just
they were like, let's run with that. Like, it's bad, guys. Let's just go with that.
They just chopped this movie's feet off well before it even gets to the box office. But we'll see. Maybe I'll be wrong. But with a $7 million gap between us, this will be interesting when we review this next week and see how we came in. But without further ado, unless there's anything else.
Oh, that's it. That wraps up episode 150 of Back to the
150, right on the hour mark, which is perfect timing for us.
We've been doing really good at this.
Yes, definitely. And we are slinging right into another episode where we do an anniversary of the 2009 remake of Friday the 13th. So we're not going anywhere. But that does wrap up episode 150 of Back to the Blockbuster, guys. Thanks again for tuning into this quick episode where we've broken down some of the Super Bowl trailers and some new news from last week. As always, catch us anywhere you guys listen to your podcast and anywhere you are active on social media. You can find us at the handle Back to the Blockbuster. Of course, always check us out on the Playlist app. Anybody can download that on your iOS store or your Google store if you have an Android. And give some love to that app. We love playlists. They do a lot of good stuff for us. We're happy to shout them out. But of course, anywhere you guys listen to, you can find us there, and tune in as well to our new episode that just came out. We had a special episode where we looked at the state of physical media in 2024 with a very special guest, Mid-Level Media. So check that out on the channel as well. And of course, stay tuned to our Friday the 13th remake episode coming out also this week. So thanks again, guys, for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode. Take care of yourselves.
Peace.